Hello, good morning, and welcome to this first session. Definitely, we are very pleased to present to you the success story of our client Tango, the Tango RPA success story with our RPA implementation today and further. In 30 minutes, Julie and myself will introduce you the success story and our RPA as a service model. So first of all, my name is Benoit Delob. I'm responsible for business consultancy and help customers on strategy, cloud adoption, and service design. And I'm also the product owner of RPA within Telindus. So Julien, let's introduce yourself, please.
Yes, so good morning. My name is Julien Baudouin, Senior Manager. I'm leading the digital transformation project that leverage emerging technologies at KPMG, and I'm the happy guy that had the team working with Benoit to help Tango to start their RPA journey. So basically, it's not a surprise for you guys, but the COVID-19 pandemic has really accelerated the digital transformation of the organization. Indeed, in fact, before the pandemic, organizations were adopting digital transformation at various speeds. Today, they really need to adopt this digital transformation because it's becoming edge to stay in touch with your clients, but also with your employees. And therefore, the spending on digital transformation have accelerated dramatically just to be sure that you can cope with this information. So next slide, please. So if you want to leverage digital transformation, automation is really a key lever to do so. In automation, you have different levels of sophistications, the objective being that you can transpose your activities to the machine the most as possible. So the objective is to make the machine transition from a stage where they will act like a human to a stage where they will think like a human. RPA is really at the bottom line of this hyper-automation, and that's what I will explain in the next slide. So RPA, what is it? RPA is the acronym for Robotic Process Automation. So there is not a single day where you cannot find in the news, in the media, in the press, I would say mention to robots or bots. So basically, RPA, it's robots, but not physical robots like in the factories, but software application. And basically that robots will automate some processes that are rule-based, repetitive, and with high volume. A prerequisite to RPA automation is that you have structured data. So that means that your data are always at the same place. Why? Because that technology is not really intelligent. You should see it like the evolution of the Excel macro. Instead, that you are not only in Excel, you can navigate into the Office suite, but also inside different kind of application or web interfaces. An important element as well is that you do not need any human intervention if you want to launch an RPA project. Basically, the robots are able to run in the background if they are triggered, for instance, by an email, or if you let a specific file on the specific directory where the robot has access. Next slide, please. So to make it more concrete, I took one of the first examples on which we have worked with RPA. So imagine that you have a child, you want to register the child to the crèche, or you want to take, I would say, to rent a flat. Basically, you need to prove that you are working somewhere. And you may get in touch with your HR department for them to prove that you are working, for instance, at Telindus or KPMG. So basically, what the HR person will do, the HR person will connect to different kind of system to collect the information about you, copy-paste that information on a specific Word document, print it, send it to the head of HR to make it sign, and then you receive the document by internal mail. So for sure, it was before COVID. Now we are a bit more digital in all organization, but at that time, it took 6 minutes to realize that activity, which was purely manual. So our idea was to put a robot next to the human to decrease, in fact, the time of delivery of that certificate, but also to make sure that that person from HR can work on more interesting things. And what we learned basically is that for sure you decrease the process time by 2, but the time the human is spending on the task is decreased by 2/3. And you can imagine that you can fully digitalize the process if you add additional, I would say, digital transformation tool in place. So for instance, if you put an electronic form, you will, I would say, digitalize the input. And then if you use e-signature and you send your certificate by email instead of physical mail, but your process is fully digitalized and you can move on. So Benoit, I'll let you to introduce the more interesting process that we have automated at Tango.
Yes, definitely. Concerning, I have an echo. So again, yes, RPA journey inside Tango, and what is it concretely? We first explained to Tango that our objective is to help organizations to make a success of the first phase of their digital transformation by empowering them to quickly and efficiently automate their process, the business process. Within this framework, we provide RPA as a service. Our approach is definitely to address first the awareness and process workshops, and further, when we identify a candidate for the proof of concept, we demonstrate our capabilities to achieve this objective predefined. So afterwards, we deployed the solution as a pilot, and finally, we implement other processes for the customers. So to explain a little bit more, by raising awareness among managers and then selecting different processes to reach this candidate for the proof of concept, which I will present in the next few slides. Once again, this proof of concept has been passed. Then we set up an hybrid solution. We deploy the robots within our solution. We carry out pen testing. As you know, that Telindus is fully PSF status, and all services are secure. And finally, we continue as today to develop other processes for Tango. That's the last stage of this process. So now we present the different use cases. Again, the first case is the proof of concept of RPA to demonstrate the capabilities again of RPA to fully automate it and to connect the process to the chatbot. The second case is the automation of configuration equipment from Tango, means the television and the internet equipment. And today, the point 3 in this slide is that we are currently developing other processes, and I will explain a little bit more in the few slides. So the proof of concept here's to first select this process to demonstrate again the capabilities of our solution, RPA as a service. This process, in fact, is the automation of internet issue detection fully integrated to the chatbot. You can see here on the screen the interactive function within the chatbot. That means the consumer from Tango can select the different menu and technical support and support of internet. To do so, the customer can know directly if its internet line is working properly or not. That means the scenario allowed us to demonstrate our RPA solution is able to automate the different flows. You can see here the different flows that we automate within the different systems, means the mail, the file, the web, the database, etc. To extract, to compare the different types of data, and without any human interaction, means our solutions provide a quick, with zero error, response to the customers. After this first success for Tango, we received a go from them to continue the implementation of their different processes. And the next processes that we would like to share with you today is the customer's equipment configurations. In fact, Tango explained to us that this process before automation was very complex, based on the subscriptions of services, based on the upgrade of the configuration of the equipment, and also the different difficulties that they observe. The impact of the configurations, it's more than 10,000 consumers from Tango, and definitely the objective that we receive from Tango is to bring benefits of the network evolution for their customers as quicker as possible. And second, ensure that optimum customer experience is again observed with minimum service disruptions. So to achieve this objective, we again propose the RPA as a service to implement this process. And in this slide, you see the process before with the complexity and the process after. That means in few days, we analyze the process with its complexity, and to do so, we carry out a Lean Six Sigma exercises, orchestrate all interaction, and automate the operations. You can see here the target process with the following task, and some example to do not explain all the icon. We select the customer device to be treated. We select the mobile number and SMS notification to the consumer of Tango. We remove connection to the customer equipment, and we apply changes. After that, we test the line, and we send the file and send a message to the customer care from Tango. That's the process we industrialize for Tango. The result of that is that this implementation is enabled Tango to achieve this objective, but not only. Tango is able to deploy for more than 10,000 customers, and in 2 months instead of 10 months, means the speed, we increase the speed by 4, multiple by 4. Moreover, the intervention takes less than 10 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Less interaction for the customers. The RPA allows to reduce the cost by 5, take into account the TCO, and effect means TCO including the RPA cost, of course. And finally, the solution allows a central data control for the customers with, again, no human intervention. And of course, we definitely mitigate the risk for the customers. So, but what is the message for our customers? You can read here the voice of our customers, means Maud. Maud is the manager of the customer care and lead the process center of excellence as well. It's a great initiative internally in Tango to identify processes eligible for automations, and we help again Tango for the future developments inside our solution RPA as a service. So based on our experience, we observe some lesson learned, and we would like to share with you and advise you with some recommendation that Julien explained to you now in the next slide. Julien?
We learn finally at Tango. The first thing is that RPA, for sure, it's a technology, but it's all about the process. If you want to automate the process, you need to understand how it's organized, how it is processed. And for that, you need really to have the people who are executing the process on board. They need to explain you what are the exceptions for you to be able to automate the process fully. So change management is really a key element, and you need to have that people on board. Second thing is that you need to involve the IT right at the beginning. Why? Because they will help you to set up the right architecture, but also you may realize that you want to automate a process by accessing different kind of applications. And if you realize at the end of your automation that the process the applications are under maintenance during the night, and you wanted to launch your process during the night, but basically you will fail with your automation. So it's really important to have that element known upfront. Third thing is that sometimes you will realize that RPA is not enough to automate your process. You may add additional technologies to fully automate your process. So for instance, I told you at the beginning, with RPA, you automate process, but your data needs to be structured. Unfortunately, in reality, only 20% of the data are structured, and the main 80% are fully unstructured or semi-structured. So you may add some intelligent data capture tool upfront to structure your data and then use the RPA to conduct your actions. And finally, a big important thing is also that if you want to govern properly your automation, you need to put in place a team, a center of excellence that are able to help you to automate the most efficiently as possible. Why? Because what you will realize in the context of Tango, you will see that we have automated 2 or 3 processes so far. The objective being that is to automate more, I would say, processes. You will realize that the people will know the effect of the RPA, that we have helped them to get rid of mundane activities. So basically, they will come to you to ask you to automate more process. Unfortunately, your budget is not unlimited, and the capacity of the automation team is also limited. So basically, you will need to do some choices, and that's why it's important to have a central team who is able to assess the different opportunities you receive and to prepare for each of them a small business case to identify what is the cost and the benefit of this automation, to be sure that you automate the processes that are really relevant and are bringing value for the companies. So that are a couple of, I would say, lessons learned that we learned with Tango. And I let Benoit to conclude the presentation with the next slide.
Yes. So now, why Telindus and KPMG? We are definitely convinced that Telindus and KPMG is the perfect mix of technical and business expertise. You know that Telindus is a PSF company again, and all our services is compliant. We have ICT services. We have fintech solution recognized in the market with a strong asset in process analyst, in developer as well. We have within our product management innovation on automation. You know, that is our DNA to automate infrastructure. But again, we automate the process, the business process. And we have team available with experts in certification in different technology, including RPA as an architecture. And for KPMG brings the value on this strong knowledge on business process and advisory, technology agnostic, as Julien explained, different track records on RPA, and have a main and critical mass of experts available. So definitely, the proposition that we would like to share today with you is that we are agile. And to do so, we propose 3 different service models. The first service model is on-premises model. This solution is to deploy within your infrastructure, the infrastructure from customers. That means we install the solution, we analyze, we develop, and we integrate within the customer's ecosystem the solution of RPA. The second model is the private cloud. This model is for which all component is hosted within our data center, means the application, the infrastructure, and the RPA as well, fully managed by Telindus. And the last model is the hybrid model. The hybrid model is, in fact, the design is that the core of the solution run within our data center, and we deploy the robots within the infrastructure from the customer. That means we provide all list of services. This model offers definitely the advantage to be rapidly operational, have a cost aggressive with a cost by consumption, and this service is fully again managed by Telindus with security, compliance, and monitoring services. So to conclude this session, Again, according to Gartner, as Alice explained in the introduction of this session, as companies increase the level of automation in their operation, they will continue to improve the experience in this area, and new applications for RPA will emerge. This will enable them to make lasting changes and maintain their competitive advantage, definitely. So in other words, our RPA as a service can help your company to prepare today and meet the challenge of tomorrow. So thank you very much for your participation. And again, do not hesitate to join us for more detail. Thank you.